Now, I mentioned CreateSpace and Lulu. Those are one-stop self-publishers. They will help you with everything for a price, and it won't be good quality work. They have artists. Oh yes, they have lots of cover artists, and you'll get a cover cranked out in no time. Will it be a cover that actually pertains to your book? Will it be one that looks regularly published or self-published? I see more disasters come out of these websites than anything. Your best bet is at cons like this, where you can find a cover artist that is struggling to get into business and you strike a deal with him. A lot of times it will cost you only $100. Sometimes if they really love your work, they'll do it for free. So look for a cover artist someplace else. And a lot of these places aren't just packages. They'll let you buy this, that, and the other thing, and one piece at a time. Also, they're editors. I've read lots of self-published books that come out of these. Mine was one of them. This book came out of their editing department. One typo every 10 pages. So, just because they say they have editors doesn't necessarily mean they're quality editors, and you might be paying for something that's not doing you a lot of good. So be very careful. If they can't point you to, this is your editor, and these are the books they've published, and you can't go on Amazon and see some great reviews, and see that they've had some sales and some success. Don't use their editor, find a new one. Does that help? Is this scaring anybody? Or is everybody just really tired from the party last night? Let's see. Oh yes, another interesting fact. Do you know that CreateSpace, Lulu, all those places, they have probably 100,000 authors. Out of those, they'll probably point you to 2 that have sold and made any money. That's not a very high percentage. See, they're not interested in you and your book. They're interested in your wallet. They want you to print some books with them. They count on volume. How many people can they push through? If you only order the first 100 or 500 books, they've made a profit. So, be warned. You need to do a quality check and be very aware of what you're getting. And not only that, they'll say they'll list you on BarnesandNoble.com and Nook and all these places. Oh, and you can see this great list of all the places they're going to put you. You can do that yourself very easily. It's not even hard to do. Go to these websites, see how to list your book there. And yeah, it might take you a couple of hours, but then you're not having to pay them a huge percentage of every book. So why pay somebody else to do it? That's my philosophy. Why pay somebody else for something that will take me a couple hours to do? Okay, the third thing, if you want to be self-published, this is the hardest one, especially in this genre. You have to be able to sell your book. It's marketing. Nobody's going to market it for you, so you're going to have to market it. How many of you guys have seen me out there in the Artist Alley? Okay, what am I doing? Yes, am I sitting down and waiting for people to come to me? No, I'm up and walking around. How many of you got one of those nice little flyers I hand out? Okay, that's a great icebreaker. Let me tell you, my my granddad made a fortune in oil wells. He did it by buying and selling. He was great in marketing. So I have some great marketing help. Do you guys want marketing help on how to sell? Yes? Oh. Do you guys want some tips on how to sell? Does anybody need help on how to approach people? Okay, I'm going to give it away now. Okay, you guys are going to see me doing this. You're going to be like, ha ha ha, she's working the market here. Okay, number one key in selling. If you get somebody to take something in their hand, they're more likely to buy from you. It opens them up to the possibilities. So, bookmarks. I know if you bought a book, you got one. They're expensive. It doesn't seem like much, but they're like 17 cents a piece. And, you know, they're expensive to print out. Don't use those if you can get away from it. Those flyers cost me 3 cents a piece. Okay, it's all a numbers game. And I was told that readers really like to know what other readers say. And so, you know, get quotes from your first readers of what they liked about your book. If people are fans and they contacted you, that's where I get mine. A lot is my Amazon reviews. Warkies came off of his Amazon review. You get those reviews and you put them on there, and that's something to break the ice with. So you come up to them, and when you come up to them, you want to let them know that you're interested in them. So you don't start writing with your pitch. You say, hi, you know, and you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Lynn Hardy. I'm a local, usually I do local signings. I'm a local blah, blah, blah author, fantasy, fill in the blank, science fiction. You can't just say fantasy in a bookstore. People will look at you weird. Fantasy, I probably shouldn't be reading that. You know? So I say a great way to do it is to equate your book to another popular one. So I picked Lord of the Rings, and it's kind of like Harry Potter for adults. Lord of the Rings with more romance. Now, how it relates to Harry Potter is that it takes magic to this 20th century point of view. Lord of the Rings, well, I have an elf and a dwarf. Okay, so pick two well-known books that most people will know that relate to yours in some way. And that is a great way. Hi, I'm Lynn Hardy. I'm a local author. Do you read fantasy, you know, Lord of the Rings type thing? You can also say, my book is kind of like Lord of the Rings for adults, or Lord of the Rings with a little romance, Harry Potter for adults. So you got to get a good pitch. It's called a pitch, sales pitch. Short, sweet, maybe one sentence. Hook them to want to know more. Oh, really? Yeah, I like fantasy. If you just start off with your book, hey, my book is about blah, 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 they won't feel that you care about them. You have to say, oh, you know, you got to let them know this is kind of what it's about. Draw them in. Let them want more. And so then after that, you give them a short pitch. The short pitch should be 2 sentences long about your book. Sum up, no kidding, sum up this wonderful book you've written in two brief sentences. To me, this was incredibly difficult. Oh my gosh, difficult. Can anybody do that for theirs? The book you've written, 2 sentences. This is a great game to play online, by the way. Yes?
Avatar: The Last Bender does Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Awesome. Okay, now, will a newbie to fantasy like it?
Yep.
How many newbies are going to know what the Three Kingdoms are?
Not many unless they go play Dynasty Wars.
Exactly. There you go. Helping you out there, but yes, that's a great concept. You got it right. You're combining 2 things. You can also say a little bit about your book. Like I've often said, my book is about 5 people snatched from this world and thrown into a world of magic. 1 sentence. You know, they get the looks and the abilities they were pretending to have. 2 sentences. End of story. You step back and you wait. Okay? This is the hard part. You wait. If they seem interested, that sounds interesting, you continue. If they do not, you say, thank you very much, and you walk away. So you kind of got to read people a little bit. And this is selling your book. Now, you won't always have to do this. Once you become a best-selling author, you can walk in and most of the time have a decent crowd, and when you don't, approach a few. But for the time being, yes, this will be your life at every book signing. And you will need to do this over and over and over again. Any questions about this part of the marketing? Selling your book? Okay, and oh, by the way, for the next class, this is also used in selling it to an agent or a publisher, this 2-sentence rule. So you'll want to have that 2 sentences known about your book no matter what direction you're going for publishing. Okay, so selling your book, Renaissance fairs. If your book is fantasy at all, Renaissance fairs are a gold mine. If you can get them to let you come and do a book signing at a Renaissance fair, you don't have to pay that 15%. There's no table fee for having your books there. And so you will make your largest profit there. And that's a great place to find your audience. If they like Renaissance stuff, most likely they're going to like fantasy stuff as well. Another place are swap meets and festivals, just about anything. There will be lots of people around, and it'll be a good place to sell your book and make money. So this is how I made $7,000 in 7 months. I sold 700 books in 7 months doing this, the Renaissance circuit and bookstores. Let's see. You also need a list of initial reviews at Amazon. As soon as possible, get reviews of your book. While you're in the printing process, Send out preprint copies, PDFs. Find reviewers. You need those reviews of your book to make sales at Amazon and Amazon Kindle. Does anybody know where they can find reviewers? Anybody heard of Amazon Top 100? Okay, you have?
I've heard of it.
Okay, Amazon has a rating status for reviewers. The top 100 reviewers are those that get the most responses on their reviews. You want to get reviewed by one of these top reviewers. If you can't find anybody, you click on their picture and you go to their site and they'll tell about themselves. If you don't see any other books like yours in your genre, don't pick that reviewer. A lot of times they'll have an email where you can contact them. If you find somebody who's reviewing books like yours, email them and say, hey, I'm this new author, I have this book coming out. Would you be interested in reviewing it for me? You'll probably find one in the top 1,000. That's a lot of people to go through, but that's how to self-publish. Go through them page by page. Besides all these other things you need for publishing, you also need bookmarks, business cards. Anybody have one of my bookmarks here? What does it say on it? It has my website. That way if you like the first book, you know where to find the second. It also has a picture of the book and my name, so you can get familiar with who I am and you can get familiar with the book and find it online. There are some places out that will try and sell you bookmarks with their logo pasted all over it. Oh no, not professional, do not accept them, get them someplace else. You should never have anybody's name and information on it but yours. You are paying for them after all. Business cards are much cheaper than bookmarks. Every professional author I've met has a bookmark with their latest book on it. So just make the bookmark out of your cover, put your website on it, done deal. Hand this out to people who are interested so they know what your book is and hopefully can know where to find it. We're running out of time, so I'm going to kind of skip through these. I know it was a lot of information. Do you have any questions about any of these numbers on here that you've been reading through, hopefully? Anything you want me to elaborate on? Anybody know about Library Thing and Goodreads? Like I said, Goodreads is a great place. You need to go there and get your name out so you can have people listening to you and you can get reviews on your book. Networking. Anybody know what networking is? Networking is making friends in the business world. How did I get here? How did I get to this con being a self-published person? Well, I went to Fandemonium, a tiny con in my town, and I met Ellie Modisett Jr. and Worky. Worky read my book, absolutely loved it, thinks it's going to be bigger than Stephanie Meyer's books, and decided, yes, exactly. And so he approached the con heads and said, you have to have her, you have to have her. And so they offered to have me come here. And that is how you get sponsored into cons. Normally as a self-published, they don't want to touch you. Until you get a good reference, you have to pay for everything, including table space at a con. But it is worth it to go. Even if you don't want to sell your books, before you sell your books, you should be going. Talking to authors, making connections. If the authors know who you are and have known you for a while, they might read your work. That's, they'll wait till they know you well, but then they might read your work. If they like it, they could recommend it to your agent, or to their agent, or their publisher. So these are very important connections to make. Anybody mind going to cons to make connections? I'm assuming everyone here might like to visit a few more and write it off as a business expense. Really, honey, I have to go to this con. It's part of my book thing.
You already noticed that.
Yes, yes. And the most important thing is that writing is a journey. The more you write, the better you become at it. Anybody read all the Harry Potter series? Okay, you probably won't admit to it, at least not here. Okay, you did?
I did.
Okay. Did she become better with the books as the series continued? Did her writing become better?
Yeah.
See, every writer improves. And the way you improve is also by reading. That improves your subconscious. So keep reading in your genre, keep writing in your genre, and you will become better and better and better. By the way, my other favorite review, which I don't have on my review sheet, some guy said my first book was as good as Harry Potter #3. Woohoo! I guess I'm like, wow, they compared me to Harry Potter. And he was a huge Potter fan. He knew everything about her. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So, sorry. I had to gush a little bit. I'm still kind of really new at this. I'm not used to all of this stuff going on around me. It kind of took off. I was one of the lucky ones. You know, I walked into some great situations. Oh, marketing also. Talk to everyone about your book. You're sitting on an airplane, talk to that person about your book. If you have it published, bring a few copies with you. You know, on every airplane ride I've ever taken, I've sold like 3 books. I kid you not. I'll sit down next to people while we're waiting for the plane, start talking to them about being an author and tell them about my book. Oh, really? Do you have one on you? And I pull it out and they're like, oh, I don't have a book for this plane. And they buy my book right there for cash. So, you know, and you never know. You could be sitting next to an agent and they probably won't want to talk about your wonderful book. But if you talk to them about other things and are nice, eventually work your way, they might see their way clear of talking about your book. So you never know who you're with, who you're around. My video game contract. Okay, you guys want facts and figures? Are you interested in how much I made? Anyone want to know? They paid me $5,000 cash for the right to make the video game. I signed a 2-year contract saying you have this book for 2 years, make the game. That is how these things work. Do not sign a contract and tie your work up unless they give you an upfront royalty. That royalty should come upfront, and then they'll deduct your earnings from that until you pay that back. So that is how I made $2,000 from books, $5,000 from video game, and that was some guy standing in a video game store. I went in looking for something, and I started talking to him about, I just published this book, and this is what it's about. And he's like, oh, that sounds like a really cool book. And I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. I said, he's like, it would make a great video game. I said, I know, we could do this and we could do that. We talked for like half an hour. And he's like, you know what, you should come in and do a book signing here. Your book is so like video game stuff, do it here. So I did. My first book signing was in his store. He was the manager. After that, we talked again. We talked 3 times besides the book signing, 3 more times. We even had lunch and talked about it over lunch. What a great game this would make. Then he tells me he's leaving the store. That was his research. He's like a brilliant genius. He's got 2 degrees he got in 3 years. Double major, 3 years. And he's got some independent investors, and they're just looking for the perfect game to launch their company. And would I be interested in signing my book over to him? And that is how the video game contract. So you never know. I was in a video game store talking to a manager. When you start talking contract and money, I was like, oh, you're the guy. Okay. So, communicate well. Okay, so we should go. I'm running out of time. I'm out of time. If you have any questions, email me at my site. I will blog about these things and in greater detail. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And let's draw for the book. Where's the box? Yeah, put the names in the box. Okay. All the names in the box yet? No.
We don't have a...
Okay. Well, do you want to draw for a first edition?
Yeah.
That I refuse to sell.
Some other people that want paper.
And then you can see all the things you shouldn't do in a book. Oh, what? Pen. Who's got my pen? That's the only one I have. Who brings the book? Lots
Was
of
this
time.
it? This is mine.
I had it to do.
What do you need on it?
Okay. Huh? Oh, yes, I do.
Is it extra?
If anyone would like an outline on the writing process and the do's and don'ts, what to look for your book to make it.
If I have my backpack here, I'd give you my pen that looks like that.
Well, we will have to do something. Okay, any more? Somebody come and draw.
I'll do it right here.
Oh, wait a minute here.
Draw.
It's good.
Renee Dillman,
That's me. Renee Dillman.
right over there.
Okay, do you want the book? Yeah. Here you go. And then we have 2 manga tickets. Who would like a manga ticket? Who's in this class? Come up here, please. Or not a manga, I'm sorry. Glance ticket. Who would like it?
I don't
Remember
want
there's 3 people sitting there.
Yeah, who is the third one?
I don't know about one.
They left. They're yours. You held out to the end. Oh, do you want one?
I was going to let her borrow my pen.
Ah. Okay.
one of the little ones that.